But we also had another game on Sunday, is the AFC Championship game. And talk about a great quarterback, Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs defeated the Bills 38-24. And typical Chiefs fashion, they get down by 9 points to start off the game and then come firing back with 3 straight touchdowns. Typical Chiefs.
Yeah, called it. Called it. This guy right here called that one, right? Said if Patrick Mahomes plays, the Chiefs are going to win. And, I was keeping an eye on his concussion protocol all week. Once they said he was cleared to play, I said, oh, this game's over. I mean, Kansas City is just too powerful right now. They have arguably the best offense in the league, and I think it is the best offense in the league. I think the other team that you could argue has the best offense is the team they're going to be facing with all the other weapons in Tampa Bay. But I think I'd have to go with the weapons that Patrick Mahomes has right now. I mean, just options after options with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman. You got, like I said, Le'Veon Bell on the bench right now. I don't even think he got a carry in that game. The guy is an all-star running back, and they just haven't even had to use him. So they've got so many stars on that Kansas City team. I think Andy Reid has them really hitting on all cylinders right now. And I think early in the game, obviously, Buffalo looked good, and they were really in control of the game. When McCole Hardman fumbled that punt return, I said, oh no, this could change the game. This could change the game. And credit to the Chiefs, though, and credit to the coaching staff and to the players. And even if you look back at it, to Mahomes on the sideline saying, hey, we've been here. Let's just play like we know we can play. We've been here before. We're ready for this moment. And they settled down. They settled McCole Hardman down. They got him some touches on the next couple of drives, got him into the end zone. I think that was big to get his confidence back because he's one of your biggest weapons. But, I mean, they looked really good right now. I don't think there was ever a point where Buffalo really threatened to win the game, even though they controlled the start of the game. I think shortly, like I said, maybe what was that, mid-second quarter, that's when Kansas City kind of put on all the jets and took control of this game. And I knew it was over at halftime, and then they just came out and kind of finished it in the second half. I think, honestly, one of the big stories is the way that the game ended and the poor sportsmanship, obviously, of the Bills and the quarterback throwing the ball. He's got to learn that, obviously, the Bills can be back and bounce back, and they can be in that situation again next year. So it's all experience. You've got to take that experience, whether it's good or bad, and kind of bounce back, especially as a professional athlete, and kind of move on. So I think it was kind of upsetting as a fan and as a coach to see the game kind of spiral out of control a little bit at the end. But I think most people knew it was going to get a little chippy right there because Kansas City was just dominating the game in the second half. The Bills knew their season was coming to an end, and they just didn't want to see that happen. One of the other storylines was obviously Stephon Diggs, and they pretty much kept him in check. And he stayed on the field and watched Kansas City celebrate. And I think that's more of a way that I think Josh Allen should handle losing the game is like, hey, let's see how they handle it. Let's use that as some ammo for next year. And I know that's what Stephon Diggs is going to do. And, I mean, he was arguably the best receiver this year statistically. And I'm expecting him to have another big year next year.
Yeah, I think Diggs had probably the biggest impact on his team when it comes to receivers as anybody else in the league. So I think you're absolutely right. Guys like that who stay for the other team's celebration, it does a couple of things. One, they say that the feeling they were feeling at that time watching the other team celebrate, they never want to feel that again. So that fuels the fire for players like that. Number two, they look at that and they say, I want that to be me next year. I want to come back here and I want to feel that next year. That type of championship winning atmosphere that Diggs was looking at when we saw the Chiefs celebrate. I think one thing with the Chiefs now that they've won a Super Bowl, and more with Andy Reid. Reid was always kind of like the guy who was a great coach, great play caller, could never really manage the clock well. And now Reid's at a point where they go for it on fourth down. They're more aggressive. I think now that they've won a Super Bowl, and specifically now that Andy Reid has won a Super Bowl, he's just throwing caution to the wind, and he'll go for it on fourth down. He'll take chances because he knows he's already got a Super Bowl in his back pocket. He's not going anywhere. He's got one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, the best quarterback in the NFL, in Pat Mahomes. He's got an unbelievable offense. So why would he not go for it? And I think that aggressiveness that he's allowed to display has really helped him this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think once you get that relief of, I think that was the big thing, right? Everybody was questioning, can Andy Reid get his team to the big game and win it? So once you do that, the relief's off, the stress is off, you kind of go deep into your bag of tricks, and you might even create some new stuff as a coach to use because you've just gained whole new confidence of your play calling ability, of your coaching. I think you're right with Andy Reid. I think we've seen that out of him, and I think you're seeing his team play at a high level. I think a lot of it has to go to Eric Bieniemy again. I know we've talked about Eric Bieniemy on the show in the past. He really has this team playing at a high level, and even with the whole coaching controversy that was following him over this past week, all he did was deflect it and wanted to talk about how this team is preparing to win the Super Bowl and how that's their goal. So I think this team is just really focused in with the players and the coaching staff. I think it's going to be a really good Super Bowl. I don't want to make a prediction yet because I know we're going to have a show in between to make a prediction, and I'll do a little bit more thinking whether I'm going to predict as a coach and analyst or predict as a fan with my heart with Tom Brady.